Letitia Wright is seemingly taking the reins from Chadwick Boseman as the lead actor in the next Black Panther film. After his death, we hadn't heard much about how Black Panther 2 would be affected, but all we knew was that he shot nothing for the project. So stay tuned to today's video as we discuss how Letitia Wright nearly died in a Marvel Black Panther 2 accident. First up, what has been happening on the set of Black Panther 2? Black Panther 2 has gone through a lot of rough times recently, from the death of Chadwick Boseman to reports of Letitia Wright being abusive on set and bragging about her anti-vax views. The death of Boseman really affected the script and the cast, but from what we know, it hasn't really affected the story all too much. Boseman will be honored in the film according to Wright and Kevin Feige himself, but to what aspect, we don't really know. Clearly, in earlier versions of the script, Boseman was the protagonist, but since they shot nothing before his death, things were swapped around to make Letitia Wright's character Shuri the lead role. Since all of this came to light just a few years ago now, fans have been angry because Letitia Wright isn't a good person. She has been openly anti-vax and has even been abusive on set to her castmates. The anti-vax stuff has been confirmed as she has been near rallies and has spoken about this on social media, whilst the abuse hasn't been completely confirmed. Just recently, some news has come to light how Letitia Wright nearly died on the set of Black Panther 2. Over the last few weeks now, many VFX artists have come out to complain about Marvel's work schedule and how they treat their VFX artists. This comes after fans have been complaining about the VFX in the latest few Marvel movies, and these artists have been defending their work but also mocking Marvel for how they have been treated. Those who worked on Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness and Thor: Love and Thunder have had their work mocked online because of the poor CGI that fans claim to have seen, whereas in reality, these are pretty good special effects for the time and money that were given for the projects. Marvel has been pretty stingy on their VFX budget recently, and it's really showing in these projects. Whilst talking about this VFX situation on Reddit, some news came to light on how a crew member for Black Panther 2 had to work around the film being delayed. They said that the film was delayed because Letitia Wright had an incident on set which caused the film to be put on hold while she recovered from a fractured shoulder and a concussion as well as other severe side effects. The same guy who leaked this also said he was hurt on set of What Painted too because of the poor conditions. He said, "I tore my ACL on Wakanda Forever 5 days after they hurt the actress. At the time I was setting lighting. I've since switched departments to VFX. Can 100% confirm being on Marvel sets is also always an SHIT show." They also want to talk about specific details about Letitia Wright and how she wasn't comfortable performing the scene that she was injured doing. One of the props guys who went with Letitia in the ambulance said the helmet she wore actually saved her life, despite the crew saying she didn't need to wear it full on. As well as all this, someone Reddit also claimed that the anti-vax statements have been blown way out of proportion. The big deal was that Letitia was the only actress to not be vaccinated, whilst the rest of the cast were openly vaccinated. The Redditor explained how most of the people on set were anti-vaccine behind Letitia. We don't know if this is confirmed or not, but it doesn't make a lot of sense when you think about it. Why would most of the cast be anti-vax but still talk about Letitia on social media as if she was the devil? He went on to talk about how the stunt was a motorcycle incident and how many films over the last decade or so have had a lot of these accidents. It seems like these sets are properly tuned for motorcycles, and a lot of actors get damaged because they are meant to do the scene whilst the stunt double sits on the side. We don't know if this is the accident that caused her injury, as nothing has been reported on, but there's been no safety violations either regarding Marvel Studios. So are Marvel Studios being negligent to what's happening, or are these Reddit stories completely false? Let us know down in the comments section below how you feel about this. Marvel has been put in a very tough spot by the internet over the past few months. Fans aren't completely happy with the way Phase 4 is going. The last few films have either been mediocre at best or riddled with problems and CGI failures. The Disney pleasures started off really well with their story writing, script, and CGI, but the last few rarely shown the issue with the 6-episode storylines. Take Hawkeye, for example, one of the better shows out of the lot, but the 6-episode former really made this show bad. They brought back a fan-favorite character from Daredevil on Netflix, Kingpin, but only used him for a small amount of the storyline. He only really appeared in the last 2 episodes, and one of them was just a cameo towards the end. Marvel really needs to increase the amount of episodes these shows have, as fans are getting really annoyed. With Echo and then a Daredevil series following on, fans are expecting really high-quality shows with more episodes to explain a full thought-out storyline. If we're going from Netflix Daredevil heights to Disney Plus, things need to stay the same. Daredevil is one of the most beloved Marvel projects, and diminishing it to a bad Disney Plus series with 6 episodes episodes is going to leave a bad taste in every Marvel fan's mouth. Well, that's all from that. What do you think? Are you excited about the future of Marvel TV and Black Panther 2? Let us know in the comments below. And now onto some other Marvel news from the last few weeks. Next, Ms. Marvel's finale opens up a lot for the future of the MCU. Marvel's Ms. Marvel has finally come to an end, and despite fans not really meshing well with the storyline or the characters, the final episode has left them with some really interesting questions. There were two major drops in the final episode after the storylines had concluded. The first one being towards the end of the episode was the reveal of Ms. Marvel being a mutant. If you know anything about the character from the comic books, you'd know she is in fact not a mutant and actually an Inhuman. Inhumans were introduced into Marvel Comics when Marvel realized that pushing the X-Men was not financially worth it. At that point in time, Fox earned the X-Men, and Marvel creating comic books for films that they didn't own was just not worth it in the end. Therefore, they made the Inhumans, which are pretty similar to the mutants. Now that they're trying to bring the mutants into the MCU, having Kamala Khan be the first mutant we meet makes complete sense. She most likely isn't the first mutant in the MCU, but being the first one introduced on screen in the 616 canon is a good idea. In the scene, we also got a nod to the X-Men as the original X-Men 97 theme song was played, similar to when Professor Xavier appeared in Multiverse of Madness. Kamala Khan now being a mutant has made some people online pretty frustrated with Kevin Feige and Marvel as a whole. But for the average fan, it's a good idea and is going to be great down the line when more mutants get introduced. It seems like Phase 4 is a pure setup phase, unlike the past three, and aren't really building up to one specific villain. Instead, Phase 4 seems to be setting up the wider MCU, just like how films like Guardians of the Galaxy set up space and how Doctor Strange set up multiversal travel. The next major scene from the Marvel finale was with its post-credits scene. The post-credits scene saw Kamala Khan's bracelets mess up and make her swap places with Captain Marvel from across the universe. When looking at the comic books for reference, this makes sense, as these bracelets are now confirmed to be the Naga bands. Having Captain Marvel swap with Kamala Khan is going to set up into the Marvel films coming in 2 years' time. This film is going to be nuts, as we finally get to see the three Captain Marvels that we have on screen. One from the original film, two from Ms. Marvel, and the other being set up in WandaVision. The future of the MCU is looking really crazy. Hopefully, you'll enjoy what's to come. And that's the end of today's video. Hopefully, you enjoyed this latest video. If you did, would you please let us know down in the comments section below? It would be very helpful. Make sure to like this video, comment down below, and of course, subscribe to the channel with the notification bell rung. Thank you for watching today's video. Bye!